Blessings. Welcome to Facts, Not Fiction. Join me this Thursday the 2nd at 7:30 p.m. sharp, yes, for another Facebook Live as we discuss facts, not fiction. Keep rolling, state of emergency, so much murders, everything out of hand, like this place going through. Join me Thursday at 7:30 p.m. sharp. I'm out.
Blessed and good afternoon to each and every one. Indeed, it's always a pleasure for me to welcome you to Facts, Not Fiction. Today being Tuesday is good as any other Tuesday. And of course, we want to say a pleasant welcome to all you loyal listeners, those who tune in every time, all the time. We want to say to you, thank you. And we welcome you locally, regionally, and internationally. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it is a day that is filled with all types of ups and downs and here and there, but nevertheless, we are here and all is well. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a call to the National Self-Help Authority. I want to also call on Stephen McClashy in relation to the farmers whose homes were destroyed by that tornado a couple weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you believe that while McClashy and all of those movie stars that went on the media and state that help has reached those folks in the RE Road in Lucero, I want to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, that out of the 12 farmers' homes who really feel the blunt of that wind, today, ladies and gentlemen, there is 5 persons who has received assistance, and to the end of the day, it seems as though that nothing else is forthcoming for the rest of the farmers, which is 7 of them, that continue to struggle to sleep under tarpaulin, who has to put makeshift beds in place. It is really a horrible situation. And up to today, ladies and gentlemen, these individuals continue to plead with Minister McClashy for assistance in relation to that devastation that they faced a couple weeks ago. Why it is that our politicians always try to look good on television, when the truth and in fact is, ladies and gentlemen, they continue to fail the people in this country. They fail the people in this country in every sector, in every situation. It's failure, and more failure, especially in that constituency they call Brea. It is total failure. So I again make an appeal to National Self-Help. I saw the CEO spoke on social media, even in my presence, and he states that help will be coming by that Friday. Today, heading for 2 weeks, and yet to the end of the day, 7 of these individuals have not received anything whatsoever from National Self-Help. So I am making a plea, I am making a call again for somebody to assist these citizens who have nowhere to rest their head. Okay? I am going to take that further as time permits, and the longer it takes, the more intensified it will get. So I am asking again on behalf of those individuals down in Ari Road in Lucero, somebody reach out to them, please. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the word constitution, where did this word came from? If you have ever studied etymology, ladies and gentlemen, you will understand that this word have a significant attached to it. And what is attached to it, ladies and gentlemen? It is the origin of words and the way in which their meaning have changed throughout history. The term constitution comes through French from a Latin word that is constitutio, used for regulation and orders such as the imperial enactment. Something that you can get an example from our president in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the president, after a bill is passed by the upper and the lower house, it is sent to the president for enactment. Ladies and gentlemen, most constitutions were enacted or put into law by Parliament after independence or Republican status was achieved. It is called the Republican Constitution, where it achieved. It is called the Republican Constitution when this is achieved. It is called the Republican Constitution where it transformed the country from an independent nation with Queen Elizabeth II being our head of state and appoints the president as the head of state. Added to that, ladies and gentlemen, between the time of independence to when the Republican Constitution was put into effect, there is another constitution called the Independence Constitution, which still exists today in some territories where the Queen is still the head of state. But where am I going? Where am I going with this, ladies and gentlemen? The Constitution is also much harder to change than other laws. I want you to follow me as we move along. The Constitution is much harder to change than other laws. Parliament can usually change other written laws if more than 50% of the members of Parliament who are present support the change. This is called a simple majority. It is said that Parliament can amend, change laws where there is a simple majority in relation to certain aspect of the law. The Constitution, however, needs what is called a special majority in order for Parliament to change any of its provision. The Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, need what is called a special majority in order to change any of the provisions within the Constitution. Some important and fundamental parts of the Constitution, such as the enshrined rights, need a special majority of not less than 2/3 of all the members of each House of Parliament in order for those to be changed in any way. So there are some laws that the Parliament can deal with a simple majority. There are other laws that the Parliament needs a 2/3 majority of all the members in order to make any changes. Because it is so difficult to change our Constitution, it means that government have to follow its rule as well. The government also needs to follow the rule of law as well. All right? These rules state that the same even if the government is changed. In that way, the Constitution helps ensure our democratic rights. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pay attention to something here. Pay attention to something here. Even though if governments are changed, our democratic way of life and the stability of our governmental institution must remain intact. But where am I going? Well, we will see in just a little bit. The Constitution is the supreme or highest laws of the land. It must be followed by the president, by the prime minister, by ministers of government, by the chief justice, by the judicial arm of state, all state and public officials, and all citizens. It set out the structure and the type of government we must follow and what power they have. It makes sure that your rights are protected and set up institutions to ensure that the government and other states official does not abuse your rights. Where am I going? Hold on. All other laws in the country must follow the Constitution. But the Constitution does not replace these laws. Instead, it sets out the standard which they must follow. Think of it as the foundation of a house, the writer said. All other laws are like the doors, the walls, the windows, the roof. When you build a house, what it look like will depend on what the foundation are. So too, all the other laws in the country depend on what the Constitution said. Well. Ladies and gentlemen, where we are today, in relation to our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, this country, we are now experiencing a type of governance that we have never experienced before. This country, ladies and gentlemen, we have had prime ministers in the past who tested the strength of the Constitution. Basdeo Panday was one such individual. Basdeo Panday tested the Constitution when he decided to put losing candidates as senators in the government. The Constitution was tested. And while Panday tested the Constitution, to the end of the day, he was proven right. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose of a constitution in a country? A constitution has been put in place in order to have every citizen subjected to law and order. It matters not who you are. It matters not what portfolio you hold. It matters not what authority that is invested in you. Each and every individual, every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago must uphold the Constitution and the rule of law in our society. We have a government in this country that show no respect whatsoever for our Constitution. We have a government in office that continues to evade the Constitution. A government who have no regard whatsoever for our Constitution in this country. A government who intends to do as they please in our country. A government who continue to trample upon the democracy of this country, ladies and gentlemen. Democracy, ladies and gentlemen, carry a price that I do not believe that some of you can ever imagine. Democracy, ladies and gentlemen, democracy came with sweat, blood, and tears in many countries. Democracy, ladies and gentlemen, today as we speak, there are countries in society that continue to fight, to kill for democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, democracy is a right that no citizen in Trinidad and Tobago should ever allow any government to trample upon. this Keith Rowley administration continue to trample on our constitutional rights. They continue to rule by an iron fist. Keith intends to rule this country by decree. Ladies and gentlemen, I could remember quite clearly that Keith Christopher Rowley tell this country that there is a need to go into the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. You remember that? Keith Rowley made a case that there was an urgent need to go in to that Heritage and Stabilization Fund. The opposition of this country went to the parliament and supported that move in relation to the withdrawal of funds to be utilized for COVID-19 purposes. All remember that? But what did Keith Christopher Rowley did? Keith Christopher Rowley, together with Coleman Booth, went into the fund, withdrew a couple $billion, and then take our savings, our money, our children money, and pay the contractor partner, the contractor friend, the financiers of the P&M, with the said money that they made a case to this country for pandemic reasons. We, as the citizens of this country, we stood idly by and we said nothing. We said nothing in regards to that situation. But what was the purpose? The purpose, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of the test, the beginning of testing the waters for what was to come right after. So let's move on as we tidy the thing up and as we heat the thing up. So they get away scot-free with pandemic money to pay the friends, the financiers, and to pay and to make sure and pay the rental bills, the legal bills for their ministers and their ministers' family. We stood idly by and we did absolutely nothing, and we say absolutely nothing. But where am I going, Victor Roberts? Where am I going? Democracy is one of the ways of governing a country. It is based on the idea that everyone in a country should have a say about how the country is run. Everyone should have a say as to the running of the country. But because it is not possible for everyone to be in parliament, people chose other people to represent them in parliament and to make decisions for them in the parliament. These people, ladies and gentlemen, are chosen during an election when people vote for whom they believe can best represent them. Soak that in. Soak that in. So you, who ought to have a say in the running of your country, you, by way of vote, select a person to represent you within the parliament. What does that mean? That simply means, ladies and gentlemen, that both government and opposition have been chosen by you, the people, so that you can have a say in the affairs of this Trinidad and Tobago. But my question to you this afternoon, do you have a say in the affairs of this country? What say do you have? Who speaks on behalf of you? What say do you have in the affairs of this country? It seems as though, ladies and gentlemen, that we all have fallen asleep on the job. It seems that we all have fallen asleep on the job. Ladies and gentlemen, I could remember in times past that you could not have sleep on the job. You could not allow, you would not have allow, you would not have supported, you would not have supported what is taking place today for government. Ladies and gentlemen, our constitution is under attack by Keith Christopher Rowley administration. Our democracy, ladies and gentlemen, is under attack by this administration. You have an administration that goes to the parliament and bills that require a 2/5, a 3/5 majority. They have now brought it to a simple majority. Bills, ladies and gentlemen, that need special majority, This government has now brought it to a simple majority, and you, the people, the citizens of this country, stand idly by and allow this dictatorship to penetrate the democracy of our country, destroying every aspect of our human sanity, destroying every aspect of our lives, bringing our lives to naught in this country, and we stand idly by and allow this to happen under our eyes. This is what we are now allowing in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you believe? You believe that a dictator dropped from God's sky? You believe that a dictator rise from the ocean? A dictator, ladies and gentlemen, is one who is voted into office, and then he give you small drops of that dictatorship prescription, small drops of that medicine, and before you know it, ladies and gentlemen, there is no form of democracy in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, you examine every move that this Keith Rowley make in this parliament. This Keith Rowley administration shut down the opposition in the parliament. They shut down the opposition. Let us face reality. Something that you're afraid to face. The reality is that the opposition have no say whatsoever in our parliament. That is reality. The opposition has no say in our parliament. Because when they are not bullied by the prime minister, they are cut off by the speaker. When they are not bullied by the prime minister, they are cut off, cut down, trampled upon by the speaker of our democracy, your democracy, my democracy. Our vote as opposition have no say within our parliaments. I am going to bring it real to you. And if you know you can't take it real, then I urge you could come off the live. If you can't take it as real as it is, then you could press that button and come off the live. You know why? The time has come in this country for games to stop playing. The opposition have no say in our parliament. And if our constitution tells us that each of us have a say in this country, how come 300,000 plus individuals have no say in our parliament? A matter of fact, this minority government has now taken possession of our constitution. They have now put our constitution under parliamentary arrest. They have locked up our constitution. In that not only the opposition have no say in the parliament, but we as citizens have no say in this country. We have no say in this country. We allow it. We allow that to continue in our country. Keith Christopher Rowley. I want to ask Keith Rowley this evening that if he feel that he own this country, I want to ask Keith Rowley if he believe that my children is his children. I want to ask Keith Rowley if he ever sleep home by me. Because you, Keith Rowley, you are speaking to us in this country like if you are our father. That is how you're talking to us. Like if you is daddy. Let me tell you something, Keith. Daddy had the authority to speak to me. Not you, boss man. Not you. You have to know your place, Keith Rowley. And if your members in your cabinet, you could bully them and have them quiet, then that is a matter for them. But we will not take bully from you, kids. We're not taking bully from you. Who you feel you are? Who you feel you are? You believe that Trinidad and Tobago belongs to you? You believe you could tell us about vaccinate or else? You feel you could tell us vaccinate or else? But you making joke. You making joke. It are 300,000 else people. 300,000 people waiting for that else that you talking about. That you feel you could get a whip and you could beat us in this country. Well, let me tell you something, Keith. The constitution of this country will prevail. But let us move. Every aspect of governance today in our country is a breach of our constitutional rights. It is a breach of our constitution. You do what you want. You say what you want. You act when you want. You water down a piece of legislation when you want. What requires 2/3 or 3/5, you bring it down to a simple majority. And that is the traits of a dictator. That is the traits of a dictator. You mash up people's constitutional rights. You telling us. You ordering us. You making your own rule. And you believe that you are King Hefe. That you are the kingpin of Trinidad and Tobago. So whatever you say goes. Tabakalepso Keith, that ain't working here tonight. You know that, Calypso? That ain't working here tonight. Let me tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago, I want to talk to you now. I want to tell you, if you cannot see what is happening in this country, let me back up and speak about our constitution, our constitutional rights, and our democracy. When you hear that a government could take control of the office of a chief justice, you better wake up and know that there is dictatorship at work. When you hear a government a prime minister could decide who commissioner of police that he wants, you must know that it's dictatorship at work. When you hear a prime minister could put a family, a friend, a partner, a colleague, niece in charge of our electoral process in this country, then you must know that it's dictatorship at work. But guess what? Guess what? Don't blame Keith Rowley. Don't blame Keith Rowley. Blame yourself, citizens. You know why? Because we stand up, sit down, and lie down like a bunch of idiots and allow this to take place in our country. That is what we allow. And then we want to talk about opposition. We want to speak about opposition. And we want to speak about opposition not performing. And we want to speak about opposition in vote. And we want to speak about opposition. Stop mama guy all yourself. Let us start to talk about we. Yep. Let's speak about us. Let's speak about you. Let's speak about he. Let's speak about she. And let's speak about me. You know why? Because the problem in this country is not the opposition. The problem in this country is we the people. Here is where the problem lies. You know why? Some of us are very clever Facebook patriots. We are Facebook patriots. We will fight each other on Facebook. We will cuss each other on Facebook. We will degrade each other on Facebook. We will mind everybody business on Facebook, and we cannot mind our own business to see that our constitutional rights is being taken away from us because we are so busy about somebody else's business. We are so busy about somebody else's business that we cannot see what is happening right in front of our eyes. So Keith Rowley came to you and he tell you that he needs to extend a state of emergency because he needs to have mass vaccination taking place. And he needs to curtail the movements of people. And he needs to get the figures down, and the state of emergency is the ideal thing to get the figures down. And here what we do. We did absolutely nothing. We didn't even blink with lights and honk the horn. Yeah, honk the horn. We didn't even do that. But what we good at is talking and making excuse and blaming others. We blame others for our own downfalls. We blame others for our own mistake. We blame others for our own stupidity. We blame others for us lacking to do anything to defend our constitution. We blame others for everything. You hear what I'm saying to you? That is what we do. So Rowley extended the state of emergency. But what is happening? I remember Kamala Prasad Bisesa had a state of emergency also, you know. Don't feel I forget that. But guess what? Murders went down. Serious crime went down. Today, state of emergency, more killing. 5 in one day. 4 next time. 3, 2, 1. It's Bodo, bam, dead, kill. That is what's going on under the state of emergency. This is the first reckless state of emergency that I am now experiencing. That people doing anything they want except standing in defense of our constitution. We're doing everything except standing in defense of our democracy. We're doing everything except defending what people die for. That is what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, what has happened to you? What has happened? We allow anything to happen in this country and we cool. We all right. We just normal. That is what we do. So I'm taking 1 minute break. Just a water break. And I'm coming right back as we intensify and wrap this thing up.
I see police, I'm trying to know what's like it. No, I'm telling you what's like it. Listen, I'm telling you what's like it. If you don't know, I'm telling you. I'm telling you what's telling you. You're supposed to be in your mouth last time. I know they get out some, but it's not like it. Go, play and let me put the court. Because if you want to learn like it, you know enough. I said it like this. Don't play man me. I said, what? Don't play man to me. Right? I see for talk here, I don't have to talk here. Okay? I can not support you. That's all we want.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying to you this afternoon that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to stand for something. We cannot allow what is taking place just to sit idly by and watch from the outside. We need to take a hands-on approach to our future in this country. This PNM government, ladies and gentlemen, it is not a government that you, the people, would support going forward. I hope not. This government, ladies and gentlemen, who have breached every aspect of your constitution, this government who continues to mismanage your affairs, this government who continues to punish you, the citizens, this government who are taking the wealth away from you and your family, this government who has brought you as paupers in this country, this government who have no care whatsoever for you, this government who brutalize you. This government, ladies and gentlemen, that continue to bring hardship, whereby you cannot pay your rent, where you cannot pay your mortgage, where you cannot pay your light bills, where you cannot buy food. This government has brought you to depend on a handout. Hugo Chavez was one of the greatest trickster in the history of Venezuela rule or Venezuela governance. Chavez went to Cuba on a number of occasions. And what Chavez had done was to bring a mixture of communism with socialism. And Chavez, within his brain, put together a plan to stay in government despite what, despite how, despite when. It was not important to Chavez. The only thing that was important to Hugo Chavez was to stay in power and rule Venezuela. That strategy, ladies and gentlemen, called for the expelling of many diplomats. That strategy, ladies and gentlemen, was to embrace his grassroots supporters, giving them handouts, bringing them to a place of dependency upon him, whereby his actions would cause them to support him to remain in power. And the second man, Nicolas Maduro, who was also trained by Chavez, after the death of Hugo Chavez, Nicolas Maduro continued with the same policies, crippling Venezuela, crippling the constitution of Venezuela, ruling Venezuela by decree, keeping himself in power while the rest of the country flee. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the same strategy of this PNM administration. Hugo Chavez, Maduro, change from the money of Venezuela. Did he change the leadership in PDVSA? He changed the leadership within the Supreme Court. He put every aspect of his personnel in place in order to remain in power. I want to suggest to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is the same pattern of Keith Rowley. Because as I said before, when you could control the head of the judiciary, when you could control a police commissioner of your choice, and when you could control election and boundaries, ladies and gentlemen, it is a full-fledged dictatorship at work. And this is all happening under your nose. It is happening under your watch. It is happening because it seems as though you are now asleep. Ladies and gentlemen, Rowley said to you, last election, August 2020, that he will be here for just a little while. But I heard him said recently that he intends to be here for much longer. He intends to be here for much longer. Is it a situation with Chavez and Maduro? Would it be the same situation with Rowley and Penny? Maduro continued the policies of Chavez with Penny Beckers, as it is alleged, who are preparing for prime ministership. As Keith Rowley, it is alleged, is preparing for the presidency. Is it why they are eroding our democracy in this country? Is it why, ladies and gentlemen, that the policies of this PNM government is to bring you to your knees? Is it why, ladies and gentlemen, that they are bringing you to the point that you must depend on the social services of this country to survive? Ladies and gentlemen, we are here and we are doing absolutely nothing to save our children. You and I, ladies and gentlemen, we are idling while this country, democracy, are being destroyed. I have seen with my eyes that this government cares about its financiers and its hierarchies. Do you believe that this government care about you? I have seen, ladies and gentlemen, the destruction over the years under this PNM government, that you so boast that is my government, that this government resemble the color of my skin, that this government have the same texture that I have. But to the end of the day, all you benefit from this government is the color of your skin, nothing else. You have benefited nothing else. You have benefited a name. You have benefited a name. You and all give yourself that name. I am a PNM. That is the name you give yourself and your boss. I am red and ready. That is my party. That is all you have. I am a PNM, a red and ready, and I am my party. You have nothing else. 47 years of your texture. 47 years of your color. I want you to go from Caracas to Port of Spain, and show me a large contractor with your texture and your color. 47 years of rule. I want you to show me the big supermarket that the texture of your skin and the color that you have. Show me. I want you to show me the big pharmacy that you own over the years because of the government that resemble your color. Show me, ladies and gentlemen. Show me what you achieve. All you achieve is old talk. That is all you achieve, old talk. Show me which one of you have 5 excavator, 2 truck, a backhoe and a low boy. I know some of you, since a small contractor, and now I get big, only is just old small contractor. I know some of you who have a parlor since a small, and now I get big. All that you have is a small old parlor. But to the end of the day, all you're telling me that we deliver because we cares. Fooling on yourself. Fooling on yourself. Watch the constituencies that are living in. Watch every constituency, including mines and Brea. People calling me from Union, from Vestany, from other areas. How much weeks they can't get water? Vestany, Brea, Palo Seco, Losiro, the whole constituency falling apart. All you can't even see, all your representative. And when they do come, it's some mama guy all you. And all you fall for that, year go, year come. Watch the youths in this country. What opportunity has this government created for the youths? The youths in this country, they are talented. Some of them quite educated. But what is there? You know what is there? A hamper. That is what they has done to you. That is what they has done to you. When you believe that this government is your government, This government don't care about you. I will make it plain for you tonight. This government is not your government. This government will continue to be, will never change. A government for some of the Syrian people and some of the rich Indian people. That is what that PNM government has made up over the years. And if you can't take it, then press the button, because that is facts. That is facts, not fiction. Facts. You can't even get the scrums. You can't even get the scrums from this government. You tell me why 47 years of political power of a government that resemble you, and yet you have nothing to show. And I ain't talking about handout, I'm talking about opportunities for the young people to become entrepreneurs. Every aspect of education, this PNM government cut it down. You know why? Because they want you to remain uneducated, whereby they are able to control you and control your thinking. Every institution where you can become somebody in this society, this government cut it off. You know why? Because they want you to depend on them. This is the government that we have, a dictatorial government that will stop as nothing. They will stop at nothing. They will rule by force. And you wait until they choose a commissioner of police of their choice, and then all the fireless spit will break loose. You hear what I'm telling you? They already lock the judiciary. They already lock the EBC. Now they want to lock a commissioner of police. And when they lock the judiciary, the commissioner of police, and the EBC, then all the fiery pit will break loose in this country. That is what is happening. And it is happening because we are asleep, and because some of us power crazy. Yeah, you know I come in there to deal with some all here. Yeah, I come in there. Some of us power crazy. All of them, every single one who propagating third party, they too is the enemy of democracy. Let me say it again. All of them who propagating third party, they too are the enemy of democracy. Let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. They are the enemy because their ideology is what will keep the PNM dictatorial party in power. That is what it is. Because which one of them who's speaking about third party could take one PNM seat? You ain't hear me? Which one of them who talking about third party could take one PNM seat? If you show me that man, I support him, I vote for him, I do everything for him. Show me that man. Not one of them could touch a PNM seat. Show me any one of them who could touch a UNC seat. Any one of them. If you show me that man, I support that man. But yet still, they believe that jumping out and talking about third party could create any impact in society. Waste of time. Are you serious about democracy? Are you serious about fighting for this country? Then you have one choice, and one choice only. It's either you stay with the PNM or you find yourself behind the national opposition of this country, which is the UNC, because none of all you could touch one seat from the UNC. That is facts, not fiction. But you know what the problem is? Everybody have political ambition. Everybody want to start a political career from the top. But let me tell you something. Everything that God creates, everything have to start from down there going up. You plant a tree, it had to start down there. Before you could get the fruits, it had to start there. You had to nurture it. You had to care it. You had to broom it. You had to bend it how you want. And you had to make sure that you water it and you salt it in order to get a fruit. So what make you believe that you could jump in from the top? That don't work so. This UNC party has a democratic process. And this democratic process is a process that all of you are welcome to. That is what it is. Come and sweat and toil and prove yourself. And then when the process reach, then you will allow the membership to do its job. There ain't no jumping in by no back door, by no side door, no side window. You can't take out a galvanized and jump through the roof because we have some nail waiting there for you. You can't have no storming. You can't storm in the UNC. You have to get up and work in the UNC. And while on that, I want to tell you UNC members that it's time that you get up off your butt and start to work to save this country from this dictator that is ruling with an iron fist. Get up and work. Every one of you. I don't care what position you hold. This is not about your position. This is about saving Trinidad and Tobago. That is what this is about. This is about no fight and no crab in a barrel syndrome. This is time that Trinidad have to come together if you want a future for your children. If you want a future for your children, this is what this fight is about. This is not a fight to see who will lead and who in charge and who this. Let me tell you, the UNC had an internal election. And the internal election vote for Kamla Prasad Bisesa as the leader. And nobody will remove Kamla from the leader until the membership say otherwise or the leader decide otherwise. That is the position. Take it and smoke it in your pipe. It's until the membership decide otherwise or the leader decide otherwise. That is facts, not fiction. It ain't no storm in here. Get up and work. Get up and allow your voice to be heard. And I want to say this one time too, because as I say, I am not here to be liked. I am here fighting, and I will continue to fight to save this country with whatever contribution that I could make or whatever contribution that God allow me to make. It has some MPs. It has some MPs like they fall asleep too. This is time to get up. Every hands must be on deck. Every hand must be on deck. Wake up. Time for sleeping done. Honeymoon days over. This is a battle to save this country. And I am going to call on anybody and everybody and any supporter and every supporter to stand together and fight the battle to save this country from the pit of the devil that the administration has now placed us in front the gates of the pit of hell is where they have us. And I am calling on every individual. I don't care if it was COP. I don't care if it was MSJ. I don't care if it was PDP. I don't care if you whatever P that you feel you want to be. This is a time to stand together and save our country. Save our country. All who sleeping, wake up. Wake up. Time for games over. All you Facebook activists, wake up. Wake up. Save your children. Save your grandchildren. And save the unborn babies from this wretched, evil government that is in power, that continues to victimize you in every form. It's nepotism, it's cronyism, it's Jaconia measures, and we sleeping. And we sleeping. Look, all you wake up and get serious. I gone.